Welcome back to Mac Talk Sports, and in this video I'm gonna review final match day of the group stages, and Group E and Group F were involved and history was made on the match day. A lot to talk about, so let's get right into it. We're gonna start with Group E, the most interesting group of the tournament. Going into the final match day, all four teams could have qualified. All four teams were on 3 points. All four teams lost one and won one. So you know it was going to be an exciting day. We're gonna start with Belgium versus Ukraine. Both the teams lost their first match. Both the teams won the second match. So they both came into this into this game with a momentum, with a confidence and they knew what if they needed to go into the next round, they had to do this similar what they did in the previous game. But Belgium's experience, I think, came handy in this way. They looked really good, the best that they have looked in this tournament till now. They got the most of the chances early on. Kevin De Bruyne, he plays a great ball and gets Lukaku in, but he shot straight at the keeper, which has been the theme of the tournament for him and for Belgium, unfortunately. But Belgium did not stop. They get a free kick, and KDB tries to be smart, and instead of going over the top, tries to curl it from the right hand side. Unfortunately, he beats the keeper, but unfortunately for him, the curl is not enough to get the ball in, and he hits the side netting. But Belgium don't stop again. This time it's Trossard comes in from the left hand side, lays it off to KDB, who shoots from outside of the box, and it stays but the keeper saves it. The ball comes straight into his hand, and the score remains 0-0. We go into the second half, and again it's Belgium. Ukraine have not really did not really produce anything special up until the later stages of the game. It was all Belgium throughout the game. Ukraine lose the ball, and Belgium counter. KDB plays Lukaku in again, and he again shoots straight at the keeper. And you can see there's a bit of concern for Belgium regarding Lukaku, but this is Lukaku, Lukaku's history, Lukaku's story. He misses a lot of chances, so that is could be a concern for them going in forward into the tournament. Then again Carrasco and Lukaku again were involved in a great 1-2, which I think was the best chance of the game. Carrasco takes a shot with a fingertip save from the Ukrainian keeper, keeps the score at 0-0. Ukraine finally had a chance from Dobik, makes a great run from the right hand side, but his shot gets wide. And then Ukraine had a corner, and they tried to be very smart with it and almost got lucky, but almost being the important one. They tried to curl the ball right from the corner into the net, and up until the last moment the keeper did not realize it. But thankfully for Belgium, he did it, and he got the fingertips and parries the ball up over the crossbar, and it stays 0-0. Both the teams finish on 4 points, but unfortunately for Ukraine, their goal difference was not really helpful for them, and they are the ones who get eliminated. Belgium qualify for the next round. I remember after the first game between Romania and Ukraine, I said, with the way that stuff is happening, with the way that the third place qualification, the scenarios, every single goal, every single result will matter, and this 3-2 could be very dangerous for Ukraine. A 2-1 would have been better. The 3-1 result has come back to bite them in the end, but that's the case. What can we do? Commiserations to Ukraine, congratulations to Belgium, who moved to the next round. And then we are going to talk about the second game of Group A, Romania versus Slovakia. I was really excited for this game because both of these teams like to attack. They like to play attack-minded football. Despite being the underdogs, especially Slovakia, they could have just decided to sit back and absorb the pressure and hit teams on the counter, but no, they prefer to play the football in the right way. So, and it's really exciting and refreshing to see. Maybe Gareth Southgate should learn something from the Slovakian manager, and England can play better. But as I expected, the game was a very end-to-end stuff. Both the teams, because as I said, no one knew which team would go. Nobody knew what was happening in the other game, and everybody was tight. So everybody wanted to win the game, and they both fought very well over it. The first big chance came towards the Romanian side. Raju makes a great run from the right hand side, beats both the defenders, gets in, takes a shot wide, but Dubravka makes a great save to keep the score at 0-0. After that, both the teams tried to take advantage, but the chances were not really noteworthy. Like, they were half-hearted chances. No clear-cut attempts were made up until the Slovakian goal, which was a really great move. PK comes from makes from the right-hand side, beats his marker, then lays it off for Kuchka, who delivers a pinpoint cross into the box, and there is Duda who heads it in, and it's a 1-0 Slovakia. And it was a really great move, great way of showing their attacking powerness, that they can hit you even in the counter, and they are really good in playing normal football moves as well. So it was and that's a 1-0 to Slovakia. But all the great work done by the attackers and all the leading up to this mode gets thrown away by one single incident. Hagi comes in from the right hand side, gets in, and it's tackled inside the box or outside the box. It was quite a debatable or a controversial decision, whatever way you want to look it, but Romania get the penalty, and Marin puts it away, and it's a 1-1, and it's 1-1. Then again, it's Hagi and Marin on the right hand side. Romania were really good. Slovakia was struggling because everything was coming from that side. Hagi and Marin again combine, and Marin takes a shot, but it gets saved. Moment later, Dragos, he takes a shot as well, but his shot is wide. Marin gets another chance as well, but again his shot is saved, and the game stays 1-1. Slovakia make one final counter attack. Haselin gets the ball on the left hand side, cuts back in and tries to curl the ball in, but his shot is wide, and the game stays 1-1. And that's how the game ends. Both the teams qualify. When the final whistle comes, it was quite funny to see in a way that both the teams were jumping and dancing. Both sets of fans were quite funny, not funny, quite happy, and dancing and singing. It's very rare to see it. It just reminded me of that 2011-2012 Manchester City versus QPR game. That City were about to win the title, and QPR got saved from relegation. So here, both the teams qualifying for the next round, and it was really a fun thing to say. And I think deservedly both of them qualified into the next round. So congratulations, Romania and Slovakia as well. Moving on to Group F, we're going to talk about Turkey versus Czechia. And this was a very important game as well. Turkey, they were on 3 points. They just needed 1 point from this game. Czechia, on the other hand, they knew they needed a win if they had any chance to qualify for the next round. And it was Czechia who started the fast, who wanted to attack. Provod makes a great run into the box and takes a shot, but it goes wide, and score remains 0-0. And then 2 moments of madness from Barak inside 10 minutes, and he gets 2 yellow cards, and Czechia are down to 10 men, and the game basically changes at that point because Turkey have a 1-man advantage. Then they start to create a bit, and their first official chance comes to Andrea Guler. The ball cross comes in, and he tries to volley it, but his shot is saved by Croatia, and the score remains 0-0. Then a counter attack from Czechia. Forward plays in Josek, and his sorry, something happened. We're talking about Turkey and Czechia. Second half, and the score is still 0-0. Turkey are on the offensive. They really want to get the win to make sure that they are still in the competition. Yilmaz takes a header, but it gets saved fingertips by the goalkeeper. But Turkey could not be stopped for long, From the right hand side, Yilmaz makes a great run, cuts it back inside. There is Kenan Yilmaz. He tries to take the shot twice, but both times it's saved. The ball falls to Yukchak, but he takes a shot. That's also saved. And then the ball finally comes to Johan Choglu, and he takes the shot and puts it back into the net, and it's 1-0 to Turkey. And you expect Turkey to hold on to the lead and to create more. Now they have the lead and the man advantage, but they somehow mess it up. Czechia gets a corner, and Goku, who had been really good up until now, spills the ball. The ball goes down. Chui tries to take his shot, but is blocked, and the rebound comes to Sosak, who calmly puts it in, and it's 1-1 again. Czechia are back in it. And then they continue to attack. Turkey sort of become defensive in the later stages of the game, as Czechia try to get that goal that can send them into the next round. That is and in that sense they leave a lot of spaces behind. And finally in the 95th minute, Turkey get the chance. The ball goes gets a long ball, gets played into Tosun on the left hand side. He takes the ball, then cuts it back in, curls it, and it's and scores, and it's basically 2-1. The game is over. Czechia out. Turkey qualify. It was quite an entertaining game. I think it was a fair result as well, but Czechia a little bit heartbroken for them. They tried really well despite being a 10-man, but at the end, as I said, I think it's a fair result, and Turkey qualify. And then comes the final game, Georgia versus Portugal, and what a game that was. History had been made. Portugal get defeated by Georgia, the biggest upset of the tournament up until now, and maybe I guess in the entire history of the European tournament. A team playing for the first time in the tournament, they've defeated the former champions, and not. And it's not. Let's not forget about it. Portugal have a very good team. You can say that they made 7 changes, that they already qualified, but the players on that pitch are quite like. The caliber of those players is quite above the Georgian team, and still they get defeated. And it happened very fast. Within the first 2 minutes, they carve up Portugal very easily. Makatutse plays the ball in, and there is Krashkelia slots it in, and it's a 1-0. And Portugal are stunned at what has happened. And they try to get back into the game. Ronaldo gets a free kick and from 40 yards out, and he tests the keeper. A good save from the keeper, and a good shot from Ronaldo, and the same way good save from the keeper, and the score remains 0-0. Portugal come again. They get a corner. Ball comes from the left hand side. Pedro Neto crosses it in, but the keeper pairs it away. The ball falls to Sessao, the hero from the last game, but he scuffs his shot wide, and the score remains 0-0. Ronaldo claimed from a penalty, but his claims were drifted away, and the score remained 0-0. Portugal again came, this time from it was João Felix, makes a great run from the right hand side. Cuts it in, but his shot gets wide, and it stays 0-0. Second half comes, and Ronaldo takes a shot, but his shot is blocked again. It was not a good day for the Portuguese captain, and it gets even worse. He gets substituted, and then the moment of madness from Silva. Stupid tackle, but somehow the referee did not give the penalty first up until VAR came into it, and the decision get overturned. Georgia gets the penalty, and Makatutsis slots it in calmly, and it's 2-0. Historical scenes. Georgia they not only defeat Portugal, but they qualify for the next round. A huge achievement for them. I saw the videos on Twitter in the capital, in every city of Georgia. It was really amazing, and a great moment. As I said, in the game between Slovakia and Belgium, when Slovakia won. This is the reason why international tournaments are so good. You have moments like this when the entire nations, entire countries come together to celebrate these moments. And congratulations to Georgia for achieving this feat and for being able to qualify into the next round. So now we have the round of 16, all of them done. I'm gonna do the previews on the day of the games before it happened, and I'm gonna do the team of the group stages. This video might both these videos will come together on the same day. So please follow the channel, subscribe to it, and like the videos, and share it as well. And please tell me what you guys thought about these games and of the entire group stages. Which teams were unlucky, which teams were lucky to get into it, and who do you think will win it now? who do you think will win the entire thing? Please let me know all of these things in the comment section. As I said, like the video and subscribe to my channel. Until next time, bye bye.